Say hi, everyone.
Welcome back. Day 2 in Le Shop. Took the truck out, fit the body on. Everything's looking cool with the front. There's still a lot of progress to be made, but the theory is proven. Now we're moving on to the back. We got a whole thing going on with the same 2-inch tube, 2-inch diameter, 1/8 wall. So stay tuned and let's get into it. All right. Had that tube bender on the back of the truck hitch, but I can't really bend what I need to because the tube is going to interfere with the bumper unless I have like a 6-foot extension off the back of the truck. So I know a guy with a welder, and I asked him to set up this trailer hitch here.
I was wondering what you were doing with that.
Whoa. So, not only will the tractor be able to pull a trailer with a trailer hitch now, should we need that. Ta-da!
Wow.
Now we can bend. So I got a bunch of stuff cut up. Look back here. We're gonna get into a little theory, and then we're gonna try to bend some tubes and see what happens. Now we're in the thick of it. Like we weren't in the thick of it from the inception. Remember I made these tubes, and the chassis was much lower. It was a completely different arrangement. But it turns out, with the chassis being raised, the angle is still fine. I ended up cutting 7 inches off the front of that, and I'm gonna weld it into that tube. So, design-wise, it is cobbled together. I want it to look like the truck chassis has been mated mutantly to all this fabrication. So, I think it holds. I think it stands. That it will weld into there, and that will be capped off. This still rises above with the assistance of my dust broom. Look at this fine jack stand engineering.
Wow, don't bump into that.
We're doing it raw. We're doing it dirty on the shop floor, just like this. Got the airbags in place with the plate and the bolts. We made all those. So I think the challenge right now is to get these tubes attached to the truck chassis and then create the truss, create the structure to hold these airbags. These tubes, you'll see there's 4 tubes coming rearward. There's going to be a trailer hitch back here, definitely. So it's going to be a really bobbed off rear end. The trailer hitch will probably be as tight to the differential as possible, and all 2-inch tubes. So
I'm very distracted.
I know.
Hi, Shadow.
Look at this dirty dog. You have been out in the desert. You dust.
She's like following me around. I'm trying not to trip on her as I'm filming.
Shadow is a child of the desert, and now that she's back from the mountaintop, she is just rolling around in it.
Yes. She knows we're talking about her.
Good beast.
Good, Shadow.
So I'm not trying to weld to the truck chassis, so I got this plate here. So these will weld here. The plate will be bolted. I got it clamped for now because it's going to be some serious drilling. And then I have another plate right here to start it off. And I'll probably just use these bolt holes. That's going to go like that. There'll be more, but this is to start it off. So why don't we do this? We're going to leave this tube right here, like that. Okay, so I got that plate set. Now we're going to set this plate. The idea is these two ends, I want them to keep them parallel. It's out a little bit, but I think if I just get a tack down here, I can move that over before we get too committed. I need more clamps, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little tack weld to the truck frame. It'll get cut off. Side's a little bit longer. I'm going to trim that tube out. Got a decent start on that. I'm going to throw 2 cross braces on here just to keep this in place. These clamps are going to come off, but I want to lock this together first. So I'm going to get the hole saw and we'll slice 2 tubes. Got nowhere to measure to, you just kind of eyeball it. Just kind of find a happy medium. Square. If you're studying your screen, you might be noticing that this one sticks out further than that one. Because in my haste, that tube was slid forward, so I'm gonna have to cut this off to match. And then cut that end off to match. Not a biggie. Let's see what we can do to get these airbags suspended, because wasn't that exciting?
Yes, it was. My music montage was fire.
Excellent. Turn off that welder. What we need to do is get some kind of cross brace to support this that'll hold the whole truck.
It's like doing CPR.
Yeah, a lot like that. Trying to resuscitate the truck. So I think, what do I think? Now I want to do everything with nice curves. I don't want to have like a 45 or 90 degree butt weld on the tube. So let's pull this one tube in the bender and see what we can work with. I got a couple ideas, like maybe cutting this back and having a loop come up like this, or maybe on a tilt. The whole thing is we don't want to hit the bag with the metal. Even already here, we're gonna have to trim this back. No rubber versus metal contact.
This is giving a man in his workshop, alone, desolate in the desert, with just tools and his dog. That's why I came over here. It's a bit cinematic.
Got her welded up to the tractor. Pulling a piece of tube in the desert.
Uh-oh, Shadow's alerted now. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, Ian and I do not take ourselves that seriously. We just like to have fun. Yeah,
I like this. This is going to come to this tube. It's going to get notched here. It's going to move over to that. That'll be one. I like it. Yeah, that'll be mega strong. But, oh no, because we're going to cut this out. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, sweet. So let me cut this tube here. I'm going to come in square off of this to where I want it to hit this tube right here, like so. And then we'll do the same here, but I'm going to measure off the chassis instead. So I'm going to come off of this rib just to get a hard measurement of 21 3/4. One 3/4. I like it. All right, I'm gonna set up that hole saw over here.
I have a question about that thing that you're using. This thing?
Thing.
Like, is that a special thing, or did you make that?
It is a tube notcher. It's designed specifically for this.
Oh.
You can get them at cheaper supply stores, Harbor Freight, whatnot. This is a pretty good quality one because it's got bearings in it.
So it just holds it in place so then you can...
Yeah. Imagine trying to do that freehand. You'd be struggling. So now what we want to do is find out exactly how wide this tube has to be. We're going to attempt to bend it with precision. So that's going to have to come down a bit. But just to say, maybe we should cut that one first. So this is going to exhale. We want that to come down about 2 3. I guess 2.5 will be cool. We want a little bit of smush room. Let's do it 2.5. Drop this 2.5. Now that tool might not be able to grab this part. Let's see. Might and it might not. See what we're working with here?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So now we're going to pull this. We want this to be 35.5. Okay, 35.5 is our overall width. Back to the bender. All right, so we got 2-inch tube. The die comes halfway on the wall of the 2-inch tube. So we need to have, I said 35.5, am I right?
I think so.
So from this edge of the die, we need this 34.5 because it comes out 1 more inch. 32. 34.5. I'm going to double check that measurement. 35.5. 34.5. Cool. Around the loop. Got it. All right. Set this. That. Set that. It's the cops. So I'll have to cut these edges off of the rubber. I have to cut this off here, like that. Yeah, we don't want to be touching that. So let me nip these.
Why don't you want it touching it? Like, does it have the opportunity to perforate it?
Yeah. Over time, it'll also just crease this and make it weaker because as it pumps up, it's going to push up against that steel.
So what are you doing now?
I just draw these in, and then we're going to weld it on, and then we're done.
Yeah.
I'm only going to do one of these hoops because you get the gist.
Yeah.
You can come back and see the rest finished.
Look, it's starting to look like a truck, honey.
Yep.
Looks good.
Not quite. About a half inch. Okay, got another half inch off of this. So I got this all strapped up to keep these things in line. And it looks pretty good. Yeah, because this bend, after I dropped it, see, now it's interfering in here. I'm gonna have to cut this inside with the disc because it's coming closer. But that's cool. I'll just cut that off both sides and then it'll fit. All right, that's a good start. You can see how this is starting to become a cradle for these airbags. So I'm going to stop right now and think about this because we do want to incorporate like a trailer hitch setup and then the rest of the structure for these. I'm thinking I may just come across from here and just turn down and hit that. I'm not sure. Remains to be seen. Come on back next time.